welcome to the Poli Sci episodes, Adventures in Politics. On my right, this is my sister, Poli, and I am Sci, and we are baby boomers. Do you see the resemblance? Okay, that's enough of that. I'm a conservative and the oldest in the family, and she's a liberal and the youngest in the family. We do not agree on most political issues, surprise, like many of you, but we have to decide to attempt to end this palpable political polarization. Wow, that was a nice alliteration. Because it is not good for this country. It makes me sick. Families are disowning each other over political differences. You should know when Poli and I are not talking about politics, we are still close family members. Right, Poli?
Yes.
So maybe you can learn from us. Who knows? I don't know. Poli, let's start by talking about a most recent issue, the post-2016 election, the popular versus the electoral vote.
Well, Sci, you will need a brief overview of the history. Our country's forefathers, Jefferson, Johnson, Jackson, and the boys, started the Electoral College way back in the late 1700s. They are to be applauded for their intelligence and foresight. I mean, how they thought that areas in this country might be more densely populated and would unfairly represent the nation was more than clever. It was brilliant. To better explain, simply look at the map.
Okay. I have to pick up this pointer, it's very heavy. Sorry about that. Now you see on the far side of the United States, there's the California West Coast area, and on the near side is, I'm sorry, that's the East Coast. And this is the West Coast over here. And both coasts, this is a electoral marriage, whoops, clip that. This is an electoral college, county by county vote. And as you can see, the majority of the popular vote was done on the East and West coasts for the Democrats. And the center of the country was more or less conservative voting. This is the problem we have with our vote. If we just chose the popular vote, you would run to where the people are, and that's on each coast. So that would eliminate the ability of anybody who would be running against the Democrat to win. So when I hear people talk about what's the popular vote versus, well, Hillary, for instance, in the last election won the popular vote. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Okay, she won by 3 million votes. But that's basically because that's where the people live. They live on the coasts. So if you look at the rest of the country, the map looks red to me, doesn't it to you? And that's because most of the counties are red. So what popular vote would do is cause Americans to need to exclude the entire rest of the country in any vote. This makes me cry when I hear people talk about the popular vote. You have to be loaded with mush in your head if you even breathe the idea about a popular vote. It is basically illogical and arrogant. We would never have a fair representative vote. Candidates would only need to canvass people that live in the Northeast or the far West, which would make a Republican presidency impossible. So come on, give us a break. Only a person without a brain would even mention popular vote.
Oh.
You say something?
Well, yes, I did, my dear brother. You know that Trump says that millions of people have voted illegally. The thing is that it's just President Trump that appears to be the one saying that. Many Republicans have said publicly that there's no evidence to support that. What do you think of that?
Well, every now and then, darling, Trump, like many other presidents, will say things that aren't completely true. And I don't think that's a lie. I think it's an unknown. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt until I hear more about how the voting went. After all, remember Chicago a couple of elections ago? So many thousands of people voted on the Democratic ticket that were dead. Dead.
Well, that's very, very interesting. But you know what? I like to deal in facts, my dear brother. And the fact is that Trump got the most electoral votes. But, and I heard you disputing this, but it's a non-disputable fact. Hillary got 3 million more popular votes.
Exactly, but the popular vote, as I explained in the diagram, show why the popular vote is an impossible vote.
That's your opinion. Can you back it up?
Yes, I just did. I just showed you how the map looks and what it would do and what it would say.
Facts are facts.
Right, and the facts are the Electoral College is the right way to go. It's the only one that makes sense. Our forefathers did this, as you said earlier, and they were the ones that presented the argument for not having the popular vote
So
win.
the people's vote doesn't mean anything? Is that what you're saying to me?
You forgot to move your mouth.
The popular vote doesn't mean anything to you?
No.
Not everybody loves Trump, you know.
No, that's true. I guess not. It looks like half the country, in numbers of people, by the popular vote method, as you suggest, have an issue. Because those are the people that are still complaining that the popular vote should have happened. But
I would think
looking
that
at the map, what?
I think only Trump is complaining. He's won the presidency. Now, why doesn't he just go home and take care of his business?
He's not complaining.
Oh, that's all he is doing.
I've never heard him
He's
say
not
anything
happy
about
enough
the
to
popular
just
vote.
get to be president. He's got to be Mr. Popular.
He's the Electoral College president, which every presidency has to win. Every presidency has to win. Let me repeat that. Every president has to win.
Well, I don't know. You're starting to really anger me. I am going to get so upset with you because it's the truth. Trump got the most electoral votes, but Hillary got 3 million more popular votes.
Ooh.
Yay! What's next, Cy?
I don't know. I'm still recovering from that whack you gave me with the basin pan.
Oh, stop. You were always a big complainer.
All right, so look, let's change the topic a little bit here.
Please.
That one was a little rough on me.
Okay. How about we talk about terrorism, huh?
We'll talk about the immigration issue. Let's combine it, the immigration issue and the terrorist issue. Okay, so let's see. You know, you don't have it. Let's start with the borders issue. Do you have anything on borders? How do you feel about the borders? I haven't really talked to you about that too much.
Well, yes, I've been saving it for you because I knew that there'd be a little bit of a problem.
Okay, let me have it.
Well, you know that Trump wants to ban people from Syria, Iraq, Iran, Sudan, Libya, Yemen, and Somalia coming into the United States. Very interesting fact here, my brother. Not a single one of the 9/11 attacks was committed by anyone from these countries. These are lies to influence the American citizens to arouse paranoia.
Only you would call it a lie when you know that President Obama, that's the other guy who just passed his presidency,
Yes,
was
I
the
miss
one
him
that
so.
set those 9 states that are terrorist organization
Oh.
states, not.
You're going to have to prove that one to me because I don't believe you.
Well, you can fact check it. Go home and look at what Obama had set up before he left office, because that's what Trump did. Trump took his plan that hadn't the chance to be utilized and put it in motion. That's a fact, Jack.
Well, I will check it out, my friend, my brother.
I am so
But
glad to hear that.
I want to tell you something else. The terrorists that were mostly from Saudi Arabia, by the way, is one of the most religiously extremist governments on the planet, and Saudi Arabia is not on the to-ban list. I wonder why. Maybe because of oil and money. So those are magic words to any politician or, frankly, anyone in business to make money, just like Mr. Trump.
Well, you might, except for the Mr. Trump part, you would find me agreeing with you.
Trump doesn't want to make money? Didn't want to make money his whole
Trump
life?
is just as human as anybody else, but he's given up a lot of his money to be the president. So I wouldn't try to equate those two if I were you.
Well, I know how you get very defensive of Mr. Trump, so why don't we stick to why Saudi Arabia is not on the to-ban list? What do you say?
Well, that's a long-term friendly relationship, of which I don't agree with, that goes back for many, many, many presidencies, not just this one. So, truth be told, that relationship is one that has such a long history. Anything that is done now wouldn't necessarily mete out an answer for you.
Oh boy, that sounds like a lot of pablum to me. Stick to the topic. Saudi Arabia.
Just a moment.
what you did to me. Do you see what you did to my eye? I was at stat for 3 hours because of you. I'm telling Mom.
It took me a day and a half to get rid of the bandage on my head.
Oh,
from
please,
the
you're a
pan
guy.
hit
You
me
can
with.
take it.
Listen, I'm being kind to you.
There's no excuse for violence.
That was a love slap.
Except if a woman does it.
All right, so what did you want to talk about today?
Well, I've got this hot button issue here, brother, and it's the wall. I want to talk about the wall. So why don't we talk about the wall while my eye is recovering? You think that, and so many people think that building a wall is going to keep out the illegal immigrants. Well, I hate to tell you something, but I've done a little research, and building a wall is not going to do any good. You want to know why? Because there are much more sophisticated means of people getting into this country. For instance, Central Americans via boats are the majority of illegal immigrants. Many of them are children.
Wait a
Since
minute.
you
I
hit
didn't
me
hear
in the
anything
face,
about that.
maybe you don't care.
I certainly do care, but maybe I don't know anything about that.
Well, maybe you should do your research.
Well, okay, well, I'll tell you what. The wall was a message. It was a message to Mexico because they have been taking advantage of us.
In what way?
Their tariffs. They send their products over to us with no tariff, and we have to send our products over to them with plenty of tariff.
So the solution is, as Trump has said many, many times, the solution is to put a 20% tariff on all goods from Mexico. This would drastically increase the price of just about everything, from food to clothing. It will increase. Don't you see that?
Yes.
Most tariffs are 2% increase, but this one that Trump proposes is up to 20%.
Well, I know that the tariffs will increase. I don't know the numbers you speak of because I didn't see that, but I'll leave that as a fact-check possibility.
Please.
However, if we didn't do something, the one way of our money would continue. You have to do something. But the real reason for the wall isn't just to increase the tariff on the clothing or food. The reason for the wall was to stop the endless flow of immigrants coming across our border. This is our country. We have a border for a reason. Agree?
I hear what you're saying, but do you hear what I'm saying about how illegal immigrants are coming in via boat? Much more so than a wall, than over borders where we're going to put up a wall and we're going to pay for it with a 20% tariff? Do you think this is going to affect Trump? This massive inflation that we're all going to be involved in? I mean, listen.
Neither you nor I are an expert about whether the wall will benefit financially because it's a complicated issue. However,
inflation will.
the voters decided that that was an important issue, and they came to vote because he wanted to build the wall. So it has a great sentiment in our country.
But you need to really take a look at what this is going to do to us, because it's not going to affect Trump and it's not going to affect the rich. It's going to affect you and me, brother. We're the middle class, the blue collar guys and gals that cannot possibly afford or survive another massive recession. Think about it.
I don't know if a recession is possible or impossible, and neither does anybody else. It's a complicated issue because we're in bad shape in debt. We didn't get in debt this week when Trump took over. We've been in debt to the billions of dollars way before this. We've tripled our debt in the last 8 years.
So let's just pour on some more.
Nobody's saying that will or won't. The overall project about Trump's involvement in business and the tax release was going to free up the economy so that we can make more goods of our own. We don't have to run to Mexico.
Oh, yeah, that's going to happen. All I can tell you is that many of your own Republicans in the House believe that this wall, which is, supposed to be, and even Homeland Security experts have been saying that very few individuals will be coming over the border except for any way other than boats. Boats.
Sometimes, young lady,
I'm going to
sometimes
throw
you
a
need
book
to send
at you.
a message.
I can't take you.
I'm backing up. right, so I want to thank everybody for watching our effort here to try to make some sanity out of this, because we still love each other, isn't that nice? Yes, we do.
I love you.
Now, what we did is try to give some information and to make it a satisfactory effort to explain what's going on in this world our way.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Say good night. Say good night,
Good
Polly.
night. Good night, Sci. See you next time.